So the reason why we're talking about this, and I'll let you go with this, Sean. Sean came onto some, and we got about another 20 minutes on this. So we're gonna kind of take it out with this on the lighter note. Sean found, I don't know, what was it, a blog post? What did you find, Sean?
I was just doing some stumbling around. I know how it was. I you know, that WWE Network had been giving out free week trials, and I tried it out. I'm not getting it, by the way, just because they don't have all the content that I wanted. But I was watching a lot of things, and then I was doing some YouTube video watching, and I was kind of sad. Now, I've never been the biggest Chris Benoit fan. I wasn't even the biggest Eddie Guerrero fan. I didn't quite like those guys in WCW just because. I was more of a WWF guy, even though I was watching WCW for the NWO and blah, 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 you know. But I do recognize that those guys were considered some of the best wrestlers on earth, you know. And I was watching the WrestleMania 20 thing and that emotional hug at the end between Benoit and Eddie. They both kind of, conquered the night. They were both heavyweight champions for their respective brands. And it was kind of sad. So I did some searching around. I was looking around, and I stumbled upon this. Did you know there is a conspiracy theory that Chris Benoit...
Listen closely, Fleshy, by the way.
Yes.
Okay, am I still on?
Yeah, you're still on with us. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got disconnected from you guys for a minute, so I was trying to make sure.
And you know what? Hold on a second. I'm also going to bring on the line... Hold on a sec. Patrick, is this you?
It is.
Okay, good. If it sounds like a wind tunnel, I'm putting you on mute. But I'm gonna we're kind of going into this conspiracy theory. So hold on. You're on the line with me, Aaron, Flesheater, everybody. We're all here. So So I'm explaining this. I was looking it up. There is a conspiracy that Chris Benoit was set up, was murdered by Kevin Sullivan, a quote-unquote known satanic, occult, multimillionaire of the Illuminati, and that this was covered up, and that there are a lot of things to describe what has been done and shown that maybe he was murdered and his family was murdered because he was jealous for his wife Nancy leaving him 10 years prior. And it was the weirdest thing. And you know what? I was looking on it, I was like, this has to be a joke. But if you look on YouTube, if you look on, just do some search, there's a lot of people who want to subscribe to this. You know what? I'll quote you, Patrick, on this. When we were talking about this, kind of quote you. There's a sense of, God, I wish this was true, because you want to still have the respect for Chris Benoit there was, other than the fact that he horribly slaughtered his family and cowardly took his own self out. Instead of that, and it goes into weird shit like Kevin Sullivan, whose gimmick in the 80s and 90s was he was kind of like a satanic type guy. His wife Nancy, who was known as the fallen angel, apparently this wasn't a gimmick to them. They actually worshiped the devil, and the little things like. Now, there are some things that are weird. You guys, if you were aware about it, like Chris Benoit, the day that supposedly all this took place, there was that mysterious Wikipedia entry. Do you guys remember that story?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I've heard of that.
Okay, the Wikipedia entry. On the day of that he died, or that on that weekend, he was supposed to go to a pay-per-view event. Now, he no-showed. He called up saying he was attending family matters. He said that his wife had some food poisoning or something like that. But there was a mysterious entry on Wikipedia that came out that day before anybody knew what was going on that said Chris Benoit was scheduled to be on the pay-per-view, but did not show up to deal with the due to the death of his wife Nancy. And it apparently was entered in from some place in Stamford, which happens to be the place where WWE is. It's just it happened before anybody knew anything, And so you got that, the mysterious text messages where he, apparently they said that depending on what you look at, he called either a wrestler or he called a friend, and he said that he was feeling uneasy days and weeks leading up. And on the night that she died, apparently he said, "Hold on, there's somebody at the door," and then nothing. And then he sends text messages to his buddies saying, like, "I love you, man," things like that. It's all the goodness that comes involved in a nice conspiracy, you know. And it was beautiful to watch and interesting to read, you know. But I just took a look at it, and it was like, oh, I had to bring it to it, man, because that Benoit suicide thing did so much, had a huge impact on me. I know it had it on you, Aaron, regarding watching. Like, it wasn't worth watching. Our heroes were gone. It was kind of like, who else is going to die? I can't take this no more. And, we just we lost the passion.
I remember, like, reading about what happened, right? Like, that he basically murdered his wife and his son. I remember the rumor was, like, he put his son in a crippler crossface and murdered him. Wasn't that the rumor?
There was a few jokes that happened that week that I remember that were jokes. But then you found out this actually could have happened, like putting his son in a crippler crossface. There was the joke about maybe Kevin Sullivan did it as a reactive thing, but even though that's not been proven at all. But
I don't think Kevin Sullivan was. He probably had, like, he was probably somewhere else. But the thing is I remember from what I remember, he doped it. Didn't he dope his kid up?
Yeah, his kid was suffering some kind of muscle or growth. He was having a growth issue, so they were medicating him with HGH. He had Fragile X syndrome, so they were giving him injections of HGH to the body to make him grow.
But I mean, when he killed him, didn't he poison him? Isn't that what came out? I'm not sure, and I'm not sure.
I thought he strangled his son. Like, that's what I heard. That both him, his son, and Nancy were, like, choked out or something like that. That's what I thought.
They're put in sleeper holds. That could have happened.
He put him in to go to sleep.
And then so he eventually he hung himself. Like, didn't he hang himself on his with a gym cable?
Yeah, with his cable.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had that was a fat neck. It must have taken a while to get that done.
I think it's a giant conspiracy. I think Kevin Nash, Scott Hall did it to keep him down.
Yeah, the vanilla midgets. So
the vanilla midgets. I can't believe in that. It was hard to stand up like a step stool to go on the top of the pulley.
Yeah. So Cheater, so the conspiracy is that he was killed by Satanists and set up.
Well, not just Satanists. You have to throw, when we're talking about this type of stuff, you also have to throw in that key word, the Illuminati Satanists.
Yes.
That's they were trying to shut him up about something. It was either a revenge or they were shutting him up about something. Hilarious, man.
Wow. Yeah.
What do you think, Flesh? What let me hear. We've kind of dominated. What do you think about that?
God, wow. This is interesting. I've kind of lost the words here. I mean, wow. I didn't know the whole conspiracy thing, but I'm starting to kind of lean toward, he was set up by the Satanists, and so were you saying that his wife was married to the Satanist, whatever his name was?
Yeah.
I'm drunk right now, so.
Okay, well, the backup, the legitimate backup to the story is this: Kevin Sullivan was also known as the Taskmaster, also known as whatever in different wrestling leagues. In WCW, was the Taskmaster. He was the head of the the Dungeon of the Dungeon of Doom. That's right. Now his legitimate wife Nancy or depending on where she was at, she was at Fallen Angel in certain places, and then she was known in WCW as Woman, because that's a very original name, Woman.
Yeah, Woman.
Woman!
Well, here's the thing. There was a feud. Now, it's also known, if you're into wrestling like we are, that Kevin Sullivan was also the booker of WCW at the time, during that time period. And one of the things that he wanted to do was set up a feud between him and Chris Benoit. And the way they were going to do it was Chris Benoit who was a member of the Four Horsemen at the time, he was going to see a woman from Kevin Sullivan and like kind of like they're going to have this affair and everything like that.
Sean just crapped out. That's really weird.
Sean's dropping dollar bombs right now, man.
Sean, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you just crapped seconds.
Boy.
I heard a bunch of static, so...
Eric,
okay.
I think it's the Illuminati trying to shut you up.
They're trying to shut me up.
Yeah, either that or it's Chris Benoit's like poltergeist trying to break up our conversation.
Hey,
well, in case I crap out, basically, somebody else pick up for where they hear me shut up about it. But it's like Kevin Sullivan basically booked his own divorce. That's the long story short about it. Kevin Sullivan booked Chris Benoit to have a feud with him by having an affair with his wife. That was just the story. But unfortunately, what unfolded was his wife actually fell in love, and they actually had an affair, and she actually got a divorce, and she actually left him. And that's apparently 10 years, depending on who you talk to, 10 years to the day, this was Kevin Sullivan's, retaliation. It was 10 years before. You stole my wife, so now I steal her life. And I steal your life and your kids.
Chris Benoit, you took my wife, and I'm going to make you bleed.
Yeah. Nobody messes with my wife.
You took Nancy, woman, from me. Dungeon of Doom.
Did you ever see that video with Arn Anderson at the end of one of those Nitros where he's doing like a plea to Chris Benoit? He's like, he's like, I put you in the Horsemen because I respected you, because I know who you are, Chris, but there's certain things we don't do, and that's messing with other people's wives. And I know what you're doing in Germany right now with woman, and I know that she's there, and it was
so stupid.
It's so silly and stupid, man. But apparently, according to some people, they can't understand that, maybe the guy had brain damage and lost too many of his friends and couldn't take it anymore, got into an argument with his wife, killed her, and then took his son's life and then took his own life. It has to be something more.
Me and Ming in the Dungeon of Doom, and the Shark, and the WCW.
I'm gonna have to look up the Chris Benoit conspiracy thing on the internet.
The WCW mummy. I'm gonna have him choke you and your wife and your worthless son out.
I'm gonna send the Yeti. I'm going to send the Shark. We're going to have Conan and the rest of the Dungeon of Doom kill you and your wife, Benoit.
Awful, man.
You stole her from me, and that is unforgivable.
I work for the Illuminati.
When freaking Kevin Sullivan would come out and like that is so boring, man.
It was awful.
I got Loch Ness. I got the Yeti. I got Hugh Morris and Big Bubba Rogers and One Man Gang, and we're gonna get you. We're gonna choke
you. If you don't believe what we could do, Benoit, Just look at Hogan.
Oh.
We turned him into a bad guy. We'll take your soul too, Benoit.
Ben, you don't think that I'm the taskmaster for a reason?
What are you
I
trying
was
to
put
say?
on Earth by Satan to destroy you. I will make your death look like a murder-suicide. Do you got it?
Oh, God dang.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
And then cut right into this. And it's just oh my God! It's Chris Benoit! That sounds like the Four Horsemen.
That is horrible. Music?
No, that's Benoit's music, but
Oh, okay. I mean, it's Horseman music. I think it's softcore porn music.
you know what? I didn't put it up. We've got to do that, but
You got it? Did you have it?
You don't mess with another man's wife unless she's already going to town. Woo!
Benoit!
So awful, dude.
I will hang you from your gym in your house and make it look like a suicide.
Those are big words, Taskmaster. But Chris Benoit, woo, he's going to run you down like the dog you are.
I have the Dungeon of Doom. I have Andre the Giant's son himself, the Giant,
God.
who defeated Hogan. And at War Games, Benoit, I will kill you.
You're going to need to take a whole army and bring them down here to North Carolina and Greenville because this is horseman country. Benoit doesn't need to talk because I'm the mouthpiece, and he says he'd rather strangle his son than talk to you, Taskmaster.
Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. Wow. And I don't care if you had anything to do with the Giant falling the roof into the Detroit River. Benoit, I will take everything that you love and ruin your career. Vince McMahon himself will erase you from the history books.
Kevin Sullivan, you can take the Magnum TAs, you can take the Terry Funks, the Harley Races, you can take them all. And I've beaten them here up and down the Mid-South, thousands of times. But Chris Benoit and the Four Horsemen at Halloween Havoc, we're going to dance all night, and the ladies are going crazy. Woo! Benoit! Benoit! Woo!
Benoit is erased from the history books. You hear me? Erased. How you like my Kevin Sullivan, Patrick?
I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. You're making me cringe as I'm driving home. I'm like, holy fuck. It's like 1996 over again. What the fuck?
Geez.
That's what I'm saying. All you listen is that fucking porn music, man. Just get the porn music on.
Oh, God. Which music? Oh, the Horseman music?
Yeah,
shit.
You know what? I should have uploaded it because that would have been perfect. That music, WCW, here's just an aside, WCW had some of the worst theme music I've ever heard in my life. It was a mix between rip-offs of legitimate songs and porno music.